Hello! I don't know if you all can see me. I'm just here waiting for your comments to arrive to see if I'm being seen. Wow. I'm just seeing myself in the YouTube video and I'm just chewing my my cookie. Okay, now I'm ready. Hello and good evening and welcome to our presentation workshop in which we will be talking and presenting and critiquing the works of our colleagues and seeing what you made and what you submitted about vampires and werewolves. Now let me just take a little sip. Oh my god, I hope. Okay. Hello, Megan. Hello. I'm sorry that you had to see me just chewing a cookie there from Subway. It was delicious. Who else do we have here? Anyone else? Just Megan? Okay. Well, let's work with that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 works that want to be critiqued today. And we are going to dedicate the workshop for critiquing these works to see how they use the vampire and or the werewolf or both. And it's interesting that many of you decided to use both of the creatures in their text. I just used the werewolves in my short story and the poem because you know, life, man, life. Okay, let's see. Luisa, hey Luisa. Okay, we have two of the writers here, and of course Lily Beth has to be around here somewhere. Okay, I'll start with. Can you believe I haven't even opened my own poem? But I'm not gonna critique it because it's gonna be so egotistic, you know. Oh my God, sorry you had to hear that. I'll start with Luisa's work since she's there, and then I'm gonna go with Megan and see what we can come up with that, right? Okay, be very I forgot how to say atento in English. Aware, yeah. The work that I'm gonna critique, please have it open somewhere in your computer. And be sure to Lily, hello Lily, be sure to keep up with me. You know, I'm gonna be reading. I'm not gonna read the whole story. I'm just gonna say some parts because we have only 1 hour, and some of the stories are, well, they're cool. Let's begin with Chocolate by Louisa Kidd. Basically, Louisa, I love this text so much. I like it a lot. Let's begin with the overall image of the overall sensation of the story. I like it. It is 2 pages of humorous yet dark interaction between a vampire, a werewolf, and a human. And that's good. That kind of reminded me of a sci-fi series that I used to watch, which was called Almost Human. And that is cool. I really liked it. Please leave your comments and I'll read them. So to see if you agree with what I say or not, or if you just want to kill me. Of course, I'm ready to be killed. Luisa, Chocolate. It's interesting why you named it chocolate because it all revolves around that piece of candy. And that is so interesting. That is so quirky. We have 3 characters, Jin, Nina, and what was the name of the Anne. If I'm correct, Nina is a vampire and Jin is a werewolf, and sorry, Anne is a human, I guess, and she's preparing this chocolate for the vampire. I like that. That's very interesting. Why? I'm gonna ask you, why chocolate? Why chocolate? You know, it's interesting that you use that candy. Let me see how am I doing in the YouTube video. Okay, I'm doing okay. I'm still talking about the characters. Um, Luisa, the only critique, the first critique that I'm gonna say is that the the story is structured like in paragraphs of two sentences mostly, and I think that for it to have the structure of a short story, excuse me, for it to have the structure of a short story, it has to have the paragraphs united. I mean, you could unite the first two sections or mini paragraphs and make them a whole, a one paragraph. That's the only critique that I have for this structure. Overall, I like the dialogues. These dialogues are so delicious. Wow, you're good. And also, a mini chocolate. There's this interaction between the characters that is so gorgeously written and made, and wow, I mean, very. Nina is a witch. Ah, okay. Ah, because dogs can. Oh my God, Luisa, you naughty girl. Very good. Very good indeed. Well, Nina is a witch. Interesting. So we have a witch, a werewolf, and a vampire. Good. Let's see. I really don't. It's just that it's so brilliantly intertwined with the descriptions and the weirdness between these three characters all together living in the same room, and the ending. The last thing he saw was this smeared smile of Nina. I feel like this chocolate story is screaming for a sequel, like another one, because it's just that these characters that you have made need to interact more in another story because they're just brilliant. I really like it. I really like what you made, and even add the witch character into the vampire and the werewolf. This war, if I could say, like the witch serves as an inter an in betweener. Let's just say like that, and it's good. I congratulate you, Luisa, and using the chocolate. Okay, and using the chocolate for the representation. Yes, Lily, you upload the files. I'm just like talking about the to the authors per se, like directly. Excuse me. It's not product placement. Okay, Luisa, that's the only critique that I'm gonna give you is that paragraphs. You need to put the descriptions and the setting and the overall flowing of the story in paragraphs. You need to do that. That most definitely, because it actually looks like a list, like you're listing the things, and when you do not want that, you want them to be structured in paragraphs. And right, put a title. Come on, it's chocolate. You should write it like chocolate by Luisa Kid in big letters because it's yours. Please write a sequel. Call it vanilla, pistachio, just do something and write it, please. Because I want to know what happens with the witch, the werewolf, and the vampire. It's going to be so good. Okay, that's all I have to say for you, Luisa. I'll continue now with Megan. By the way, I will return these documents that you sent me in Word with comments that I wrote in a column, so you can use them if you want. I mean, these are suggestions. You don't necessarily have to take them in. Okay, Megan, cold cravings. The Ongoing cold cravings. I actually commented you several times, but it's just problems with the grammatical interaction and all that. Give me a moment. My mother just arrived. Sorry, my mother just arrived. So many interruptions. Okay, Megan. Overall, let's give you the overall image. Beautifully written, and it is so dark. It is so constricting that you really want to know what's going to happen in this detective-esque story, because you want to know who's the killer, who is murdering these children by ripping their throat open and her skin hanging like the flaps of a plastic bag. I quoted that. Um, it's just a few errors in the repetition, and I listed them down. But for example, you in a sentence, right? They probably even been to school together, but he wouldn't know that. But it's a conjunction, therefore it has to have a comma before it, especially but, because but serves as a contrast of ideas in the same sentence. And that's one of the many repetitive errors that you have in the story, but just a comma that it wouldn't change all that. Also, you have, for example, in a sentence, I don't know the number of the sentences, it's in the first paragraph. At that moment, let me check on you on the chat. I'll try my best. Luisa, you will. Pistachio. Okay. Megan, back to you. There is a sentence that begins as such. At that moment, it wouldn't matter because he wasn't being a father. I'll stop there. At that moment is it is. Where did I put the comment? Is a dependent clause or an introductory clause, so it has to have a comma before it. Okay. Some of them don't have to because it goes smoothly with the flow of the sentence. But in this one, I suggest you put a comma there. You have a lot of use of commas. For example, in that same sentence, you say, at that moment, it wouldn't matter because he was being a father, comma. He was an officer and he had to do his job, like always. I believe that in many sentences that you use in cold cravings, you use the comma. You can put a period there because the comma kind of is used there to just, I really don't know why you use the comma actually. It's just that it's commas are used for enumeration, you know, if it follows a same pattern. But here in that sentence and many others, you can put the period there because it really breaks the idea down, the two ideas that you're trying to unite with the comma, and it still flows perfectly. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, man. That sounded so gangsta. Okay. Um, there is a part where what is the name of the Chuck Stanley, right? Officer Chuck Stanley thinks and says, "Is that wet?" She probably tried to run. I think that is that when I think no, when the character thinks or uses retrospection, you know, retelling something from the past, you need to idolize the words so it can be clear that he's thinking what the reader is reading. By la redundancia. Um, okay, that's it. Let me see. Voy por aquí, por aquí. Don't feel bad about these suggestions. These are suggestions. So because the reader will take in consideration how the punctuation and grammar is being used. Because if he feels that any short story has too much errors in grammar, he's gonna be like, "What? Who wrote this? Come on." You know, we have to take that in consideration. The rest is just that comma that you use so very often instead of periods. Here, in the 1, 2, 3, the paragraph number 3 that starts back at the station. In the second sentence, you use that's the kinda thing that happens. This is, you can use kinda, but you gotta remember that it has to have a consistency in the narrating voice. You're gonna say kind of, shoulda, wanna, gotta, all of that. So the narrating voice has to have that consistency in the language that he or she, the narrating voice, the third person in this case, is using. So because later on you use kind of, and then you like throw off how the speech and the language that the narrator is using. Let me check the chat. I'm a compulsive comma user. Don't worry. But worry. Yeah. Okay. Um. Also, you begin sentences with conjunctions. For example, and so. No. 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 Wrong. You need to begin a sentence with a subject. Because then the idea of beginning with that conjunction and is a little is it kind of throws me off, but not that much. It's just that I know what you're trying to do. Let me see. This is all um, commented. I wrote comments in each and every one of the text for the critiquing with suggestions. Okay. This is the part that I kind of find it funny because I was weirded out. In paragraph 4, 1 week later, a new body was found. You use a comma there. No, period. End that sentence, that idea. A Latino boy with freckles. That's when I'm weirded out. Are you talking about me, you psycho? I mean, I'm Latino and I have freckles, but I don't want to be torn apart and have my limbs positioned as if this time the killer had bothered to break each one of them. You are crazy, girl. You're crazy. What's up? Oh, hey, Angel. Yes. Thank you, Lilybeth, regarding the use of italics, because you use them too. Um, awesome. Let's see. Let me see how where am I? Where am I at in the? Okay, the video is not so long, so behind. Okay, let me see. Um, the rest is just suggestions regarding how you can organize the dialogue, because you use a dialogue inside the paragraph. For example, in that same sentence where you kill the Latino boy with freckles, that is me, paragraph, in the same paragraph, there is a sentence that is a dialogue. It says, as far as I know, this guy is bobbing for apples, man. This is some really messed up shit. Detective Connor was talking to one of his CIA agents. I gave you a suggestion on how you can rearrange that dialogue, and I write, I say, I suggest, as far as I know, this guy is bobbing for apples, comma, quotation, said Detective Connor to one of the CSI agents, quotation, man, this is some really messed up shit, punto. I mean, period. End of quotation. The agent, that's just like a fun way to mix up the dialogue and all that. So the dialogue doesn't like run like, blah, he said all that. No, you can like interrupt it with how he said it, to whom did he say it, and all that. So it's fun. It's fun. Let me see. Coincidence? Who knows? Okay. Yeah, that's about it that I have to tell you. The rest is in the document. But overall, I know that this story is not finished, but it is going a very good way. I want to know who the killer is. Is it a vampire? Is it a werewolf? Is it a crazed up crazy person, psycho. Sorry, knocking on the door. Okay, Megan, I'll leave that hasta ahí. Let's go with Luis. I mean, Angel, sorry, Angel Figueroa. To your poem. He wrote a poem, a sexy ass poem about how. Come in, entra. Sacar los perros. Ya, sí, estoy en vivo. Lo cambié. Sí, sorry. Okay. Okay, that was my mom. Sorry. Um, Angel, overall, the poem is a rhythmic praise to to these femme fatales that set their eyes on something and they're not gonna end their chase until they get that. And basically that's what happens in this poem. This femme fatale, this poem begins like, oh, I'm a rich ass vampire and I'm gonna like throw everything down in this casino. But then suddenly it shifts to this femme fatale werewolf that rips out the guy's guts, puts garlic in his esophagus and kills him. What? You know, it's interesting. Let me see where am I? Okay, I just saw where I was. Um, Angel Figueroa. I'll start with that in the beginning, the first two verses. It says the lights ever surrounding this city has become humanity's last pity. Love it. Love the rhyme. Um, Lights in this case is plural, so the verb tense has to be plural. The lights ever surrounding the city have become humanity's last pity. That's some of the problems that you may have. So, no agreement in the oh my god, in the number. In plural noun. You know what I mean. There. Let me continue with the following verses. Of an erotic money spending trip, quivering under society's whip, Las Vegas baby, full of dreams and sorrows, but tonight he shall reign till morrow. I love. I actually, in the comments section, I actually wrote that I would like for Las Vegas baby to not have that comment between Vegas and baby, because it's like owning the Las Vegas, that baby. I'm just saying. Basically, because I have this song called Brooklyn Baby stuck to my head, and now I think everything that is from a city is a baby. San Juan baby. Okay, sorry. The poem. Let me continue with the comments that I made. Right. Let us discuss how commas work in a poem. There is, you know that the poem is structured in verses, and then suddenly a verse can be divided, and it still belongs to that previous verse. The idea, well, that is called a hemistich. A hemistich is half of a poetic line. So basically, in Angel's poem or in any poem, a verse and the following verse can be a whole poetic line, but it has to be divided. It has to be divided so we can follow the structure of a poem. So you don't need to use commas to show when you divide the poem with a caesura, which is the break in a verse in the poetic line. So you can skip the commas unless they are necessary, of course. So because basically it's natural what happens in the poem. The hemistich will happen because you need to divide the poetic line so we can have the flow and the structure of the stanza with the verses. Okay? I don't know if you understood that. Yeah, you understood that. I know you did. I know. If you didn't, just tell me. I'll explain again. Um, the poem overall is just mesmerizing. It's a game of the words and the rhyming, and this guy just, I like it a lot. Here's another thing that I'm gonna critique. In stanza number 2, verse number 5, skirmish being whose smile is oozing with darkness. Whose, in that case that you wrote, you're using the contraction of who is. Okay? The correct use of the pronoun is whose, W-H-O-S-E. Squirmish being whose, because you're referring to a person, not who is, okay? That's written in the comment section too, don't worry. Let's see, taking his... Okay. Right. Again, you need to know when to use periods. Even though a verse may have a hemistick and is and uses a caesura to break the flow of the verse, in some of them you just need to put the period because you encase the whole idea in that one, and there is no need to follow the idea because it then like is lost. You need to know when to use your periods. You too, Megan. Wink. Okay. For example, down he go. This is stanza number 1, 2, 3, 4. The first verse. Down he goes, his blood boiling in excitement. It opens, letting a wild animal loose upon the casino. I believe that the first verse can have the period, because you already enclose the idea that he's going down there with this badass swagger, vampire swag, hashtag. You can like just put the period there because the reader gets the idea that he's excited. You don't need to like continue with the elevator opening. That can be another whole NK idea. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let me see if someone. Yeah. Okay. You already got with the who's. Perfect. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. She broke the long erotic kiss. Here, the femme fatale is already like going down the vampire. Okay. After hearing the ding from the elevator, interjection. You need to put an exclamation point and idolize because it's ding. It's a voice. I mean, it's a expression. You know, you need. It's an interjection. Um, a slap on her rear end. Okay. I believe that. Let me see. Stanza number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 6. Once his door opens, she pushes him against the wall as she slammed the door behind him. I believe there is no agreement in the verbs here because you say pushes him like it's happening present as she slammed the door behind them. And then you begin the verse with a dependent clause that is also in present, opens. I believe that you need to find whether that's what is the tense in the story. Is it being told in past tense or is it happening in that moment? If it's happening in that moment, you need to change all the verbs into present participle. I hope I did it. I used the correct term. The present tense. You know, she's once his door opens, she pushes him against the wall as she slams the door behind him like a predator. You know, there's the goal that it's happening in that moment. That femme fatale werewolf is like, woo, about to kill him because obviously there's death in these things. Let me see. Hey, for watching, yay, I'm famous. Um, oh, okay, here. It's an unknown site. This is stanza number 7, I believe. The last one, the last stanza. It's an unknown sight, her black bra and panties, and masking her female member. I gotta say, I really hate that you use the word member, because it is, it's safe. You have such an array of ways to say that the panties were hiding her vulva, you know, but don't say vulva, nor member, because you are literally direct translating miembro, and miembro, like, literally sounds like something flapping, and that's not good. So find another way to say it. Her the vampires I mean the werewolves vampire eating vulva. Okay, okay. I am so getting sued for this. Um, there are parts that the choice of a phrase, like, it feels that there's a phrase. For example, in that last stanza, she extravagantly began to bite his neck, as for a moment she growled and ripped off his jugular. His screech voice, as if a bat has been attacked. That part there is like misplaced, because I know that you're trying to say that that after he had his jugular ripped off, he screeched in pain. But you're starting here, his, as in the personal pronoun, screech voice. This is like the beginning this is the subject, but suddenly it says as if a bat has been attacked, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell happened? It feels misplaced, but I still know what you're trying to say. I'm just saying, for a reader that is um, unknown, to all of this. And okay, that's about it. The rest is just there more detailed, because I need to have time for this. Overall, I like the poem. I like how at the beginning we think that you're gonna talk about a vampire, but suddenly it's this werewolf female that is going to kill the vampire, and ultimately does. And that last image, man, that last, staggering for her posture, as the full moon shone down the room, for she lets out a powerful howl, showing her monstrous ways. That is interesting, because you can literally picture the femme fatale drenched in the blood of the vampire, like, just, and there's a full moon, like, perdón, en todo caso, it's good. It's very good. I like it. Let me see where I'm at in the live. Okay, I'm not that far away. I'll continue now with who else is here. Who else is here? Megan, Lily. Let's go to your story, Lily Beth. Right. I really have to say something about Lily Beth. She, like, literally wrote a short story without making it a part of something bigger. So kudos for that, Lily. You know how I feel about that. This short story you must read, because it mixes science fiction and horror and the supernatural in such a futuristic yet interesting way, that in the 3 pages that it has, you can understand the universe that these characters are living in. Like in Chocolate by Luisa Kidd, we also understand this small universe that is in their house, and we can also understand the universe in which the poem of Angel, which is called Another Creeping Forever Lasting Night. You can understand this femme fatale, almost deadly environment in which these characters happen to live in. So very good indeed. I'm very proud of all these works. Okay, let's continue with Finite Eternities. Okay, you need to read these stories, people. They are good. First person narration, like Lily always loves to do. It begins like Lily loves to begin a story with this sudden "what the hell is happening" moment, and it begins as such: I ran, pushing my body to its limit. If you're not hooked after that first sentence, you got a problem, man. Okay, basically, Lilybeth, I already praised your story because it is a short story. The There's this like this futuristic world in which vampires have found a way to be eternal and not immortal through the main character, which after experimentations with him, a vampire, he his blood is the key for vampires to become eternal. And basically, he is running away from these people that want him for that want him basically. And he enters this forest. You know, when you say forest, you already think about werewolves. And the main character meets a pack of wolves that speak telepathically, and still he can hear them. And this story suddenly becomes a werewolf vampire dilemma in which a higher antagonist threatens both of the species, okay? Which is humans. I mean, humans are the threat. So we suck. We suck. Basically, I really like the story, Lilibeth. I really do. You know what I mean. You know what I thought about the story. And wait. Oh my God, halfway. Okay. What business have you in our territory, drinker of people? Says one of the wolves. That's funny. I like it. Drinker of people. It's so wisdomy, you know, wisdomy. Yeah. And look at this. The vampire wants to die in his immortality. I know. She's changing everything about the vampire werewolf spectrum, and basically the vampire blacks out, and there's this there's this moment where the leader of the pack talks with the vampire, and he asks him why does he want to die. And this story about a weird world where vampires can finally be eternal starts with the experimentations and mm, oh, they're no humans. I'm sorry, they're no humans. I forgot about that detail. Right, they've all been turned into vampires. It says that the last batch of humans were shoot, they were used for research, and basically, yeah, in that batch of humans, only a handful made the transition to vampires. So basically, he is the reason why other vampires want him, because his blood makes them eternal. That's interesting. Lilibeth says that the only thing that she doesn't like or feels that is lacking is that connection with the reader, of the reader to with the main characters, which is the alpha wolf and the vampire. And she feels like this sudden moment where the alpha says that drink my blood so it can be contaminated and no vampires will ever become eternal. She feels like it is so sudden that the reader does not have time for the reader does not have time to connect with the wolf. And honestly, I think it's just me that I like connecting stuff with stuff, but I really think that it connected very good, Lily. Very good. Let's see. And me, man, we're having technical difficulties. Be right back. Estamos en vivo. Okay, sorry. And basically, she feels that there is not enough like narration or reasons for this sudden wolf to say drink my blood. I think there is enough reason. I mean, come on. There are more to. I will finish all the critiques before 9, then we should read the stories. Okay. If we finish all the critiques before 9, then we should read the stories. I hope so. I'm only critiquing the people that are here. So yeah, that's basically it. Lily, prepare for battle. And oh my god, the ending. She's look at this. Um, he turned towards me, which is the alpha wolf, for life. I nodded for death. Then I sunk my teeth in his flesh as light and yells engulfed us. I told her that, like Chocolate by Luisa Kay, this is screaming for another story, a follow up, because it just ends like that. Like, whoa, what's gonna happen here? What the hell? Yeah, like that. So, Lily, since you want time, I will give it to you, and that's it for my critiquing. Is there anyone else here that just logged on and did not have their story critique? I already critiqued Luisa's story, Megan's story, damn it, Angel's story, poem, sorry, and Lilibeth's poem. I will not critique mine. I will leave that to you, my short story and my poem. But yeah, I think that's about it. Oh my god. Now what? Yeah, we have a blog. You know that we had a previous blog that's called Medium. Now we have a blog spot. It's let me look for the link. It is uprh.cwws.blogspot.com. So be sure to check the stories there. The link is in the description, and of course, I will send the the critiqued works back to you, Tom, back to you, and we will see what happens. Let me check where I'm at in the live show. Hey, I'm more confident now in this live shows. Awesome. Okay, it's in the description. Wait, what? Is it? Let me check. Let me do a refresh. People, let's our blog. Okay, there it is. It's in the description right now. I actually, yeah, it is. Like now. UPRH CWWS that oh, she like posted all the stories. Oh, Frances. She right. Did you read Frances poem Murder of Dracula's Legacy? You know, a critique for Twilight shining ass vampires. It's interesting. And there's my poem of lycanthropy and moving on. Yay. Moonlight, Cold Craving by Megan Liu, Chocolate, All Their Posts, Another Creeping Lasts Forever, Lily, upload my short story. Oh, there it is, The Prey. So naughty. Okay. Did any of you like read my stories, or do you want to say something about them, my poem or my short story? I mean, I also want to be critiqued. I'm just saying. I was just watching. So let me just talk with Lilybeth. Lily, what should I do? I already critiqued the work. You know what? I'm gonna read a story. I'm gonna read one of the stories randomly, and let's see. Do any of you wish for their stories to be read here online and live? Let's read some live. Yes. Okay. Okay. Well, I want to share mine. I'm sorry. I will read my poem because I will read my poem. Okay, if that's okay with you. Yay! I sent a chat. Okay. Let's see. My poem is titled of lycanthropy and moving on, and it goes. I have told you the untold desires that have fluttered inside my chest, knowing the impending recoil of my true feelings. A full moon glares on the horizon of my eyes, and a ghost creeps upwards through the streams of tears that cascade to their demise. I am possessed with anger, dismay, hate, betrayal. Why did you treat me poetry, spoke of endless lives, and intertwined promises if it meant nothing to you? I cringe as blood streams from my mouth, where newborn fangs creep, and I rip my heart out with the ferocity of wolves that run through my veins. Growling of pain, I howl at you, because your hands have led me to believe you loved me. I am cursed with the words you told, the words you wrote in the pages of my history. This heart, a life of hatred, dripping acid from its valves, desires to end you. Above, a shining orb whispers the way to your skin, and I, crawling in all fours in savage fur, run through the night, dashing around the lights, finding the road that leads to you. And once I stand over you, clenching a swollen heart, gleaming crimson from these feline eyes, I'll return the meaningless words and the lifeless verses, to find in the dark a creature like me, a revolting beast, a sinful pestilence, to migrate from the curse of falling for the prey. Right. Well, I hope you liked it. Okay, okay, okay. I was just seeing the video. I'll wait here in the chat for somebody to um tell me what they want me to read next. Anyone? Nice. People, let's we are gonna have somebody oh shoot, espérate, ¿cómo se hace esto? Right, ya me acuerdo. Okay. We are gonna have somebody reading their poem when I add them. I'm sorry. Oh, it says that invitation posted. Oh my god. Sorry, we're live. We're live. We're live. I am waiting for my friend Lilybeth to be added to the live stream so she can read her poem. Okay. Folklore. 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 Nice. Okay. Lilybeth will be. If anyone, let's see if we can try this. If the hangouts on air can add people to the live chat, like now. Okay, like Lilybeth.
Yo.
I hope you're hearing this. Hello, Lilybeth.
Hi, I just want to pause the video because I'm listening to the video. I'm like, oh, so weird.
Okay, let me see if you appear in the live stream. Lily, read your story.
Okay, let me just go here. I shall read it. It is titled Finite Eternity. Oh my god, now I'm really nervous.
Go, Lily, go.
Okay. I ran, pushing my body to its limit. A fire burned in my lungs, and for the first time in my afterlife, I felt alive. I made my way through the puddle-filled alleys and streets, my feet barely keeping a grip on the ground as I rounded corners. Running in these circumstances was not the best of ideas, but there was nothing I could do. I needed to put as much distance between the pier and myself as possible. Looking back, I noticed lights headed towards me. They shone like spotlights in this dead city. I continued forward in desperation. I only had 5 kilometers left of city, and beyond that all that lied were woods. I had two options: stop and allow myself to be captured, or take my chance in the woods. There would surely be terrors in the night. My choice was clear. After all I had done, I couldn't just let myself be captured. To the forest I would go. I increased my pace and leaped, barely grasping the top of the city wall. I hoisted myself up, and without a second thought jumped off and into the woodlands. If I had seen grimmer days, it was unclear. I had lost my humanity long ago. I'm sorry, I scrolled down. I had lost my humanity long ago, and with it the very memory of whom I was. Now all that was left was them, and as far as I knew, there were no others like us. I slowed my pace as I made it deeper into the woods. At this point, I should be safe from them. I walked aimlessly through the pine trees. They rose far above me, enclosing me in what almost felt like a complete darkness. I gripped my stomach as pain pulsed through it. I was so hungry. I leaned against a tree as I attempted to recover my strength. All the running had only worsened my condition. Leaves crunched around me. I straightened on high alert. 7 wolves emerged from the trees around me, the leader of the group standing slightly closer to me than the rest. They began to growl and bare their teeth at me. I wanted to feed on them, but that would only lead to the end of my existence. Wolves were bounded to spirits, and therefore their blood is too holy. The leader entered my thoughts. What business have you in our territory, drinker of people? I staggered forward. What do you care? I'll surely die soon enough. Let me do so in peace. I'm afraid I can't let you do that. There is still life to protect in this forest. The humans may be gone, but there are still others from which you could feast. I chuckled darkly. I'm not after your precious wildlife. I want to die. They exchanged glances, but I could care less what they were doing. All I wanted was to end this, end our reign of selfish cannibalism, eating eating the life out of the others to remain alive beyond the grave. It's sickening. I moaned in agony and fell to my knees as a new wave of pain flowed through my stomach. Is this what dying felt like? Is this what dying felt like the first time too? The beasts around me became blurs until my vision dissolved, followed by my consciousness. When I came to, I was lying beside a fire. I sat up, taking in the seven ancients before me. It was the wolves in their human forms. Their leader approached me, holding a coconut cup. This is a purifying elixir. I reached for it, and he pulled it away. No. Tell us why you wish to die, and if we find it to be if we find it to be valid, you may drink. If we do not, then you must leave our forest. I sighed. Fine. I hate what I am. I don't know who I was before, but I know I was human. When I look at the others and see what they do, what gives us the right? We killed all these humans, and for what? To extend their second chance to live? We are greedy, selfish anomalies, ones that should have never occurred. We should have stayed dead. I crossed my arms. The last batch of humans, they were used for research. The vampires were looking for a way to change their fate. They wanted to keep living, and the only way to do that was to get rid of their dependence on blood. In that batch of humans, only a handful made the transition to vampires, and of those vampires, only one was a success. I looked him straight in the eye. That's me. In my blood is the key to make vampires truly eternal. If they drink from me, they will no longer need to feed. From the moment the results were in, I knew what I had to do. I needed to flee and never come back. When they took me to the pier to transport me to the king, I made my escape. They might still be after me. That elixir will kill me, but it will only solve half of the problem. The wolves exchanged glances, communicating through their mind link. Silence, their alpha male sneered. His eyes met mine once more. Drink from me. What? You need to contaminate your blood. We both know the best way to do it is to feed off me. And what of your pack? If this will help in our battle to destroy the vampires and protect life, then it will be worth it. A new leader can rise in my place. The sound of vehicles entering the forest echoed in our silence. They were coming for me. Alpha, one of them spoke, but was promptly silenced by his leader's signal. Prepare for battle. Protect the forest and each other. He turned towards me. For life. I nodded. For death. With that, I sunk my teeth into his flesh as lights and yells engulfed us.
Ah! It was so good. Bravo, Lily, bravo. En verdad.
My goodness.
It was good. It was good. Did you see the paper that I was holding saying Lily Beth is reading her story?
Oh no, I did not.
Well,
why? I didn't appear?
No, porque se cambiaba mucho and I wasn't even talking, so it was weird. Megan says that you should change the word group for pack since it's a wolf thing. So yeah. I don't tell it did she like the story?
I need to see. I need to look where I said that. Now I don't even remember. But I agree.
Overall, it's a very good story, and let me talk with the members. You all did very good stories, but the ones that I critiqued today and that Lilibeth will critique also. And basically, I congratulate you for participating in the vampire werewolf versus werewolf month, and we're awesome. Okay, we are. I have 1 minute left. What do you do with 1 minute? Oh, right.
Well.
Lily.
We do have 1 minute, but 1 minute for whoever is interested in sticking around to stay. We can read another story for those that want to stay.
All right, we can.
Technically, the official workshop ended a while ago.
In my clock, it's like 1 minute. Still, it's like 1 minute.
Yeah, I mean, like it ended as in.
You mean yes? Okay, I got you. Yeah. So before we continue with one more reading, I just want to say that thank you again for participating in the month and taking your time to do an original work about these creatures that they may be cliched and on pop culture, but they're good to write about, and we'll see what happens in July and what we'll talk about in July. Oh my God, Megan says that it is, Lily, that it's good, and
Oh,
Lisa said that it's amazing, and Megan said it's really complete. So very good, Lily, very good.
oh, thanks.
And like I was saying, we'll see what July brings for us, and we'll continue doing these um, um, workshops and these informational videos and educational videos about literature and the aspects of it, and poems, of course, and the poems. Angel, well, let me ask him. Angel, yours. Maybe we can add him here so we can read his story.
If he has a Google email.
Exacto. If you have. Again, thank you. I'll just keep saying thank you, Lily. Because contra, sacaron el tiempo. That's good. That's very good. And remember to spread the word about the UPRH Creative Writing Workshop. Tell the people to like us on Facebook, to follow us on Twitter at UPRH underscore CWWS. Okay, okay, the poem. He wants us to read it. Interesting. Um, Basically, what was I saying? Okay. Now we have a blog, which is the link is uprhcwws.blogspot.com, where our works with, of course, your permission and your thing, we will upload them, and we would like for you to work on these texts that we are critiquing so you can develop better writing, creative writing skills, and let's see what happens. Okay, Lily, I'm gonna read the poem de Angel,
Got it.
Figueroa. Okay. My God, my accent like comes out. Okay, Angel Figueroa, this is your poem titled Another Creeping Forever Lasting Night by Angel Figueroa. And it follows and reads and goes. The lights ever surrounding this city have become humanity's last pity of an erotic money spending trip, quivering under society's whip. Las Vegas, baby, full of dreams and sorrows, but tonight he shall reign till morrow, sharpening his image upon the mirror, hanging from his hotel room in the corridor, his skull-shaped cane giving his image of dread. A shirt under his black tux showed a magnificent ruby thread. Skirmish being whose smile is oozing with darkness, but his figure tantalizing, hiding all his wickedness. Taking his top hat upon his glistening hair, his eyes ever shrouded with his opaque glasses, giving the cane a hard thud of its resting place, opening the door as his maliciousness escapes his lair, walking down his path towards his enjoyment with the masses, in front of the elevator awaiting his desires to be encased. Down he goes, his blood boiling in excitement. It opens, letting a wild animal loose upon the casino. His night is just become has just become an enlightenment. The sounds of people gambling their money, diminishing their ego. He treads lightly to the nearest table to play craps, where he spots his new victim. In his arms she will relapse. Hours have gone by. The well-structured woman is intoxicated. Winning and doubling his money, she is fascinated. Leaning onto his tall figure, trying to seduce him with her now pressed cleavage. A grin plastered on his face. As he took his winnings, she held onto his arm. When they arrive to the elevator, she pins him to the wall like a savage. With no words, she lands a kiss, a seductress on her way to disarm. She broke the long erotic kiss after hearing the ding from the elevator. A slap on her rear end lets out a lustful moan as he grabs her arm and almost dragged her to his room. Once his door opens, she pushes him against the wall as she slams the door behind them like a predator. Another kiss lands on his lips as they almost engulfed each other, not knowing the impending doom, almost ripping off his clothes, her claws leaving marks upon his white body. Without noticing her beauty, as she released her, re, as she releases her tight body from her dark dress. It's on an unknown sight, her black bra and panties unmasking her female member. His fangs slowly showing, but there is something troublesome in the air. A faint smell that is recognizable, but he can't place his finger on. Canine distemper. She extravagantly began to bite his neck as for a moment she growled and ripped off his jugular. His screeched voice as if a bat has been attacked, but she shoves a few chunks of garlic down his now exposed esophagus, impaled her hand onto his chest, while she forcefully pulled out his heart to her content and crushed it with her strength. Staggering for her posture as a full moon shone down the room, she lets out a powerful howl showing her monstrous ways. Rawr. Damn boy, I suggested that this could also be a short story, but if you prefer for it to be a poem that narrates a thing, well, okay, I can deal with that. I already told you the comments, so be aware of them. Okay. Anyone
I,
else wants their story to be read?
I
Or anything
think
else?
that yeah, it does have like that story vibe, but it also keeps that like it has it has a rhyming pattern, but I feel like it's very subtle.
Dios mío,
You
yes
can't
it
even.
does.
It rhymes. It's like on the dot, perfect, like bam, 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 bam.
Yes.
But you don't
Yes.
even notice it.
Yeah,
It flows.
exactly. It's a natural flow that it's so exquisite that you want to know more of what happens to those characters in that poem. I congratulate you, man. It's good. It is very good. And I hope you're
And
still here. Okay.
I did not mind the baby. I felt like it was a good place to put it.
I really love the baby. I really love it. Las
Yeah, but
Vegas baby.
you want it to all be like in a.
Yes.
I feel like it adds to it.
I
Las
just thought that
Vegas.
maybe
Hey.
Las Vegas baby, like all corrido, like it was a fun and quirky thing to say, but that's just me.
I think we should read Chocolate.
Luisa, you here?
Oh, while we wait, how about I show you guys what the block looks like?
All right, we can do that. Right.
Let's do that.
This is workshop after hours. Pam pam pam.
Where all the fun happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so bam. This is our blog. As you see, this is like it's like a notebook page, a legal pad, I suppose, because it's like yellow. We have the title in something that looks like handwritten, and then the color going over it kind of looks like someone highlighted it. I don't know if that's cheesy or nice, but that's what I went for. Up to debate in the future. And this is the format. This is what it looks like. It has the date that the work was posted. On the side here, you can find the blog archive, and later on when we have more years, more things, and by month, and then here you have the titles of all the things. Here on the side, you're going to have the actual stories. The first one here is mine. All of the stories are like this. You just click on it, and it takes you to like the actual post all on its comments. Ba-da-bum. And if you have a
Lily,
Google email, yes?
Luisa is here. Like she can like we can read her story.
Yeah, we totally should. I was just,
You, read it.
explaining.
You read it. Let's do the turn thing.
Oh, I shall read it. Let me return. Or should I screen share while I read it?
Oh my God, yes. Eso se me pasó. Like I can do that. Still don't know how to do it, but you know, it's. Wait. Let me see. Yep, I already got it. Okay.
Ba-ba-da-bum. Okay, so Chocolate by Lisa Kid. Let's read this thing. Okay. I am conflicted. I really hope I'm pronouncing this right because I'm not sure if it's meant to be Gin or Jin.
I think it's Jin.
You think it's Jin?
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume Jin then. For now. I hope we're not mispronouncing it. Okay, here we go. Jin turned his face upwards and sniffed the air. He frowned as he took the overly sweet scent that clogged the living room. Oh, I'm so sorry. As he took in the overly sweet scent that clogged the living room. He moved to cover his nose, squinting at the dim-lit room. He reached for the source of the sweet stench in vain. It was overpowering, easily burning any other smell in the room. Jin heard the slight footsteps before she came in, holding her hands, holding in her hands a great bowl filled to the brim. "Anne," he asked, turning to his friend, "is there, by any chance, chocolate in here?" Jin saw the hasty movement of a nod as she moved towards the short table in front of him. Setting the bowl on it, she let a sigh of relief. "Just in time," she chirped. "In time for what?" Jin asked, moving closer to inspect the contents of the bowl. There were lots of round things wrapped in colorful foil. He picked one, its wrapping a bright yellow color. "Just in time before Nina comes home." Slowly Jin opened it, and dropped it straight away. The smell came from these round things. Chocolate. Wrapped chocolate. Brilliant. "Brilliant way to suffocate me," he muttered sulkily. "Don't unwrap them if you aren't going to eat them," Anne scolded, picking up the smooth brown ball along with its wrapping. Instead of rewrapping it, she popped the candy in her mouth. "These are for Nina," Anne said. "She really likes chocolate." "Really now." He sat on the couch, grinding his teeth at the sharp pain that shot up his back. The flash of pain that crossed Jin's face didn't go unnoticed. "You're still healing, Jin," Anne whispered. "You should be still in bed." "And sleep off the pain?" he snorted. "It's not like I haven't slept enough. Wait, how long I've been sleeping?" Anne looked away before answering half-heartedly. "Couple of days." Jin didn't have any time to say something when the echoing ringing of a doorbell reached them. Anne hurried out of the room. With a groan, he stood up and headed towards the curtains. "No need to be in the dark, right?" He pulled the curtains apart and let some of the light weakly lit up the room. "Close the drapes, dear," a hissing voice said behind him. "Wouldn't want to put too much light in here." When Jin didn't move, it added, "Sensitive eyes, wolf boy." At this, Jin turned around, pointing a trembling finger towards the owner of the hissing voice. "You," he growled, a sudden need for aggression numbing the stabbing pain throughout his back. In front of him, a girl that might easily pass for 16 years old, full of rebellious energy, regular parents may say, taking in ripped jeans and the layers of grimy jackets that might suggest a hard life on the street. But to those who know who she is, what she is, might take her as a dangerous creature of the night, capable of draining the life of dozens at a time. "Me," she said with a smirk. In this weak light her eyes seemed to glint mischievously. "What are you doing here?" he snarled, his teeth bared. "Come now, boy," she frowned. "Is this the thanks I get for saving your life?" Finger pointing and barks. "I never asked you to," Jin says, his eyes trained on the girl as she made her way to the bowl filled with chocolate. "Of course not," she grins, taking a handful of the wrapped chocolate. "You wouldn't. Your kind is so annoying so annoyingly picky to the help when they, oh my god, I'm so sorry. You wouldn't. Your kind is so annoyingly picky to the help when they want to receive. To the help they want to receive. She hastily undid the wrapper on all the chocolates on her, before biting into them. Too picky, if you ask me. Jin said nothing, watching every move the girl made. He didn't notice when Anne returned until she asked the girl if she liked anything other than the candy. No, the girl replied, the corners of her thin lips smeared with chocolate. You outdid yourself, Anne dear. Completely marvelous. Thank you, Nina, she bowed slightly. He already knew the answer to his questions, but he couldn't help but ask aloud. Did you ask this witch to heal me? Anne's wide eyes met his, and for a moment looked like she couldn't breathe. She nodded sharply. This witch did heal you, yes. Nina smiled, her thin eyebrows raised. A little gratitude would be appreciated. Before he could demonstrate some gratitude with a clawed hand, Anne spoke up. You needed help, Jin. She moved closer to him. You were soaked in your own blood. Almost drowned in your own blood, too, Nina muttered, but the other two weren't paying attention to her. And I needed help with the wound on your back. It was magically inflicted. I couldn't do anything to staunch the blood flow. So that's when you called the witch? Jin asked, smirking at the harsh glare Nina gave him. Anne nodded and began an explanation of how she made contact with Nina and how she agreed to oversee his healing in exchange for lodging. But Jin wasn't listening. He was starting to stiffen in pain. Everything was going dark. The last thing he saw was the smeared smile of Nina.
Ooh, chocolate. I'm
Oh
there.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Nice. Mira,
Oh God.
Megan didn't respond, so I think that Lisa,
There we go.
very well written. Very well written. So very good.
And
Um,
definitely, oh God, definitely calling for a sequel.
yes, yes, it is. Most definitely, it does. It is screaming for a sequel.
I kind,
So, uh-huh.
I, I kind of would like that to be like a little series of short stories.
Excuse me, come on.
That I actually would kind of like that to be a series of short stories. Lots of little
I know,
the
right?
adventures
Yeah.
of, you know.
The Adventures of Nina, Anne, and Jin, or something shorter, you know. Okay, so let's see. Well, I think that we should like wrap it up for today, because nobody else was well, I don't want to read something the stories of people that are not here. So wrap it up. Do I wrap it up? Yeah, I'll wrap it up. Okay, so wrapping up, we read some of the stories of our members of the UPRH Creative Writing Workshop that is up and rising for August. And basically, we are proud of the works and of the writers that took their time to do something after so many videos, like 3 videos about werewolves and vampires. So if you don't get inspired, I don't know. Well, basically, thank you for taking your time to watch us, and well, good night. Have a nice weekend, and we'll see you in our first video of July in the unknown theme. And remember, Korra is tomorrow, so watch the series, the season premiere. Korra, yay, Korra.
The theme is always a surprise. You'll just have to wait. Well, not Miguel, but the rest of you.
Yeah, exacto. Well, okay, I'll stop the broadcast right now. I'm gonna work. Okay, Luisa, yes, work on a sequel. And again, thank you so much. So, bye bye. Good night, Lily. Bye bye. Espérate, no wait. Do I have to stop? Do I stop?
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.